The Dallas Cowboys head west to take on the Las Vegas Raiders Monday night. It is do or die for the Dallas Cowboys. It feels like pretty much every game from here on out. I just don't think you can
Yep.
afford to lose many, if any, um, from here on out. If you have any hope of making the playoffs, the Raiders have even less of a chance at 2-7. But I mean, they're still going to want to win their games. Pete Carroll's got a lot of pride, and so he's going to want to try to win any game he can. They played tough last week against Denver. Dallas coming off their bye. With that, they had the chance to maybe get a little bit healthier. Plus, we can add in the new addition of Quinnen Williams. So, what do you think of all that? And then, like, what injuries are coming up, or uninjuries are now hitting us that will really affect this one?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. You know, Dallas cannot afford to lose many, if any, the rest of the season, which is going to be incredibly difficult. So this is the game. Like, this is the kind of game where if you lose this game, I think that the fan base bails for the year and just says, all right, wins the draft and all of that sort of stuff. And I think you're fighting that off as long as you can. So I would think that this game is the game that we're really trying to get our offense figured out again, because they've had some real problems the last two games. And then also getting the defense kind of, which has now been retooled in many ways, getting them up and running with a very, that needs to be functional before we go face the Eagles. So we'll get more into that. But yeah, I think that's kind of the big news. Looking at injuries, one thing for the Raiders that I think has gone really well in a season that I think passively we were intrigued by what they were trying to build and what they were trying to do. And I think we both thought, hey, they've got some real pieces there. They should do some positive things. It really has not worked out very well for them. One of the positives for them as a team has, I think, been that they really haven't suffered huge injuries. And I say that as a huge positive. I do not want to see that change. There's been way too many injuries in the league this year already. But like their big name guys, Ashton Janty's doing great. Brock Bowers is still rolling around. Trey Tucker, like all these guys are still healthy and running. Gino's been healthy, even though he's been sacked 27 times. He's not a young man anymore. They're hanging in there. So that's a positive for them. Max Crosby's playing out of his mind. So that's positive on their side. There's not a lot of returning injury list to stuff to go on with them. Cowboys, on the other hand, have been one of the teams in the league on probably on the worst side of the middle of the pack, I would say, from an injury standpoint. There's some. It's not even necessarily injury things that I think will impact us as much. I think our offensive line will probably be the healthiest they've been since probably week 2. So it'll be very interesting to see how they start working together, and do they immediately kind of re-gel. On the defensive side of the ball, there's still a lot of question marks in the secondary. Diggs is still out for a while. I think Duran Bland is supposed to be back. Tried to change him to Duran for a second there. And just getting him back out there and hopefully healthy and ready to go. Siobhan Revel should be out as well. So I think be in the game. So be out on the field is what I meant. But as far as our safeties have been really banged up. I'm not 100% sure where Donovan Wilson is, but we really need one of the Malik Hooker is going to be out, so he won't be back. But Donovan Wilson would be really good to have him back close to healthy, so that he can kind of keep an eye on things in the backfield, which is where we've been murdered this year. So still a lot of question marks in the secondary overall. I don't think maybe I missed somebody, but I think overall that's kind of where I see the injury list of things going in.
Yeah, that sounds about right. The big one I saw for the Raiders was their left tackle, who's been out for a minute.
Yeah.
He's on IR, and that any team loses their left tackle, that is a big blow.
Oh, yeah.
So not to suggest that they're not beat up at all. I mean, every team's got some people missing at this point. So, but yeah, it'll be good to see some Dallas guys come back, and then the addition again of Quinnen Williams to be in next to Kenny Clark. And I'm curious what you think for this game and really games moving forward, if it's going to be more your pass rush really getting home. Do you think that's going to come directly from Williams and Clark, or do you think it's going to be them opening things up for guys like Ezeraku and Fowler?
Yeah, I think this is a really great question. I think it also expands the conversation on what all is going on with our defense as a whole. There's been guys that I think we've gotten some momentum out of on defense. Dante Fowler at moments has looked really good. Jadeveon Clowney's gotten in the mix. Sam Williams a little bit. Like we've gotten, and as Araku, I've been really happy with what we've seen from him. I think he's got a lot of growing up to still do, but those are all positive things. Kenny Clark's been in there a little bit. But yes, I think Quinnen Williams' ability to be a disruptor is going to play an advancing role in all of that. Do I expect that to be him specifically? Yeah, some of it. Some of it I expect it to be him overpowering whoever it is. Kenny Clark has not been a big, hey, let me go get the quarterback guy, but I still think he has to really be accounted for on that line. I'm really excited to see how much disruption those two, veteran guys get in and cause havoc in the middle of the line to provide more opportunity around the edge. With that all being said, one of the other big things happening this week, and maybe even more important than the addition of Quinnen Williams, potentially, the potential is there for it to have an even bigger impact, is the addition of Logan Wilson coming across in that trade and DeMarvion Overshown. And my excitement for DeMarvion Overshown is easily the biggest of all of these players. And I think his potential contribution is bigger than even Quinnen Williams. I think that's saying a ton. Last year, when DeMarvion Overshown really kind of took off and became his own man, kind of in that his linebacker position, you and I would talk about him and how he would just show up in plays. Like, how did he even get here? He's extraordinarily athletic. Now he's coming off a very big injury. We were amazed at how bad that injury was when it happened. It's been a long road to recovery, but I'm very excited about what he brings. Speaking of disrupting, right? He's a disruptor who shows up everywhere. Logan Wilson, what I'm hoping the team gets from him really is more of the field general. Like, hey, I know what this. I can see this play. I can react to it. I can help everyone else react to it. I don't think we've had that in our linebacker group the way that I had hoped we would. So I'm hoping he can come in and help add a real level of leadership on the field during the game to react as the game goes on. So that's kind of, and I would like to see more of what we saw against Cardinals, frankly, in the way we were creatively utilizing many people to provide pressure. The idea to me of Overshown, flushing through the middle in a gap created as the offensive line is trying to pick up everybody else is exciting to ponder because he is a real force flying at you when you're already dodging Ezaraku and Dante Fowler and Quinnen, and all these guys coming at you at the same time. So I think there's a lot to be excited about, but to me, this game comes down to, did we effectively level our defense up to a point where it can survive a wounded and not impressive secondary, right? So that's how I see it. What do you think? What are you expecting there?
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of the same. Ultimately, I guess if I was asked the same question that I asked you, I would say it's probably going to be more like option C, which is you're more of a pass rush by committee. You're more likely to get 5 guys with 1 sack than 1 guy with 5 sacks. So, I mean, 1 guy with 5 sacks is really rare, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it's not going to just be stacked up on 1 guy, which can be good because then you can't just triple team that 1 guy and be fine. Aaron Donald, Myles Garrett kind of style. So. I think that makes sense for y'all. And I mean, that's how it was against us. You had 5 sacks. It was 5 guys with 1. So, yeah, he adds to that. He makes the committee more effective. And that should be a good little upgrade. A nice, sizable upgrade is a much more effective way. Please don't tell Quinnen Williams I said it was a little upgrade. I don't want to get hurt.
I may tell her.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, then moving on, let's talk about then more your expectations for how this game's going to look. Do you see the Cowboys winning? Do you think it's going to be a distant win, or do you think that they're really going to hang in there? And maybe like your biggest player to watch, you may have already alluded to it just a second ago, and then you've been talking about him for about a week now. So I think I know what you're going to say for biggest player to watch, but like, tell me about the game itself and like how you think, like how you'd like for it to roll out. Don't just say 70-0.
Well, I'd love to say that, but depending on how you look at that. So yeah, I think our offense, to start off, I think our offense there's something that happened the last 2 weeks. Our offense, yes, we played 2 of what I would consider to be good defenses, and we did not do well against them. I think that's rather unforgivable with the tools that we have. I think that our coaches have to immediately respond and figure that out. There's just no reason why we can't adjust to that regularly. So I think that that's a big thing to figure out. But yeah, it's again for us uniquely. I think we've got to figure things out on defensive side of the ball. If we give up 30 points to the Raiders, something is definitely wrong. This season, they've scored 29 against the Jaguars 2 weeks ago. And that was easily their highest scoring game, and that was a weird game anyway. But that's kind of their top. Their top is kind of like 24 points. Like if we score 30 points, we should win this game, even if our defense doesn't show up. Now, the last time I said this, we lost to the Cardinals, so we better show up and play. This team did just keep the game 10-7 against the Broncos, which is also wild. So if I were trying to single it down, it's hard to single it down. It's unfair for me to put it on DeMarvion Overshown, just because he is coming back from this really big injury. He hasn't played in an actual game in a while, so it's unfair for the expectations that yes, I think I have for him or hope for him. I just want him to be a contributor in this game. I almost feel like there's more weight on Quinnen Williams from the fan base. I think the Cowboys fans didn't get enough of DeMarvion Overshown as a whole to really have that kind of expectation. Whereas I think Quinnen Williams is like, well, Jerry just went out and put some first-round draft picks on this guy. We better go and show – like he needs to show up and have a game. I really don't think that's fair either. I hope he's not wearing the weight of that in one game. Just, hey, we just need you to be there and be part of the team. But this is a defensive – it's the key to this game is going to be the defense in general. If I was going to limit it to one player on the defense, I'd almost say Logan Wilson above DeMarvion Overshown, just because I'm not sure how much usage we're going to get out of DeMarvion Overshown. But somewhere in those two, in that role, that's kind of what I would expect. What about you? I'm curious who you think will be like the linchpin on the Cowboys side, if you had to really think about it.
Well, like I didn't even necessarily mean like who's the most important player, so much as like who are you excited to watch? You think it's going to be a difference maker and make some exciting plays and all that. And Overshown makes sense. I think for me, from the outside, I'd be looking at like how does Quinnen Williams fit into this defense is going to be the biggest, because it's the change. I can't look away from the bright shiny object. So as for like pivotal guys, I mean, it's probably for me Quinnen on the defensive side, and then maybe a CD game. Like I feel like we haven't really had like this big blow up. A lot of players are getting big 170, 180 yard games, and CD is certainly capable of that. So I'd love to see him get he's not been wrong, but like a get right game, like CD Lamb's amazing. You know, one of those games that just makes you turn your head. So maybe on that side, that would be very nice to see. So we'll see. I think we'll get a healthy dose of Javonte Williams again. And hopefully we don't get too heavy of a dose of Max Williams. Max Crosby on the other side.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Probably no Max Williams. Okay. Well, excellent. Yeah, I would be shocked if the Cowboys lost this one, to be completely honest. I don't know why. It feels like a bad matchup for the Raiders. So we'll see. But it should be a good one. So, all right, man. Well, I'm looking forward to it Monday night, 8:15 Eastern. So that'll be fun. We'll have to talk about it maybe while it's happening even. Well, thanks, everyone, for joining us. We're looking forward to this game a lot. I hope you are, too. If you're a Raiders fan, I don't have anything against you. I don't think he does either. It's just we're in the way. No, I'm just kidding. No, we're so, yeah, we look forward to it. A big thank you to everyone who subscribed. We hit our goal of 100, and we're trying to get to 2. So if you wouldn't mind giving us a like and a subscribe, it really helps out the channel. And, we look forward to talking some more Cowboys and Cardinals and all that other good stuff. So we hope you'll join us again. And until then, I hope you have a fantastic day.